Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus back with you again. Still Monday, January 8th, and with my friend here, Lisa. Lisa, how are you doing? Still hanging in there?
Excellent.
We just finished. Yeah, we just finished the GDAX and Coinbase video. And now on to part two, which is if you want to buy tokens that are not on Coinbase or GDAX. So are you ready to dig in and get started?
Definitely.
All right. So two main parts to this one. There is MyEtherWallet, which is located there. So we're going to click on myetherwallet.com. And then we're also going to load up what is known as EtherDelta. For what it's worth, I have seen some scams where you may see one letter misspelled and you get an email and they're asking for login information or things to click on. You should not get emails from either of these, I don't believe. So if someone's asking to click on that, just be careful, especially if you see the address is not spelled right. I think that's really more the risk. I feel pretty safe with things in these platforms. Again, as we mentioned in the last video, getting an offline cold storage is highly recommended. Another thing worth YouTubing or Googling, how to safely store your coins. You don't really want to leave them all on here. I think MyEtherWallet a bit safer, although again, whether really look into the cold storage. As you see here, big disclaimer, MyEtherWallet is not a bank. So again, there are risks to anything. Personally, when I think about having a bank account at Chase or one of these insolvent banks, I don't know, I feel more comfortable with this than that. So put the risks all in perspective, but again, I'm sharing what I've done. This isn't legal financial advice. I'm just sharing what I've done. There are other ways to go about doing this, but with that said, if you'd like to see how I did it, keep watching. We're going to accept that. You can read through all these things. Again, basically the main thing, you do want to keep very close track of your, all right, so I got plenty of disclaimers here, which I will let you dig through on your own. But in terms of how to do this, so we're going to create new wallet, enter a password. All right. All right, so I've entered a password. I hope I remember what it was already. All right, I'm gonna enter a new one that I'll actually remember here. So we enter that in there and hit create new wallet, right? Must be at least 9 characters. All right. Okay, so I've created a new wallet. Save your key store file. So again, you would click on this, downloads a file. And I would say the general way I've approached this is that, you want to have this printed out, maybe in a thumb drive, possibly on your computer, but not labeled Bitcoin file.
Okay.
Because basically with these keys, it's like having the key to your safe. You want to keep it confidential, but you want to make sure that if your computer crashes and everything is erased, you have a copy somewhere. If you print it out somewhere and that gets destroyed, you want to have it backed up somewhere, because you do run the risk if you have something in here and you lose your key, you can lose it. So
is it text? Is it a string text?
Yeah, it's a long number, which we'll see in a second. Actually, let's click on this. Okay, so there's your private key. So what I will do here is open a So here you see, after we clicked on that, it's your private key. You have this option to print a paper wallet, which I'd be a little careful about going to Kinko's or FedEx and printing it out. Sometimes these things are stored in their imaging. If you have your own printer that's not been connected to anything else, that's a good way to go. But having this printed out, because here you have your address and your private key. Normally now, if I were planning on using this wallet and I made a video, anyone could take that private key and get into my account.
Okay.
So I want that to be clear that if you're, now probably most people aren't out making videos how to do this, but right there, someone, if I put stuff in this account, someone has the address and the private key, so you don't want to send that via email or post it somewhere in Instagram, because the private key and address, if you lose them or if somebody else has them, no bueno. And again, this stuff, I know I'm not trying to overwhelm or scare anyone, but point out the main things to be cognizant of, because if you are, then you can be okay. But just want to make that clear now, because in case anyone's wondering, well, why are you showing your thing? If I were going to use this account, then yes, most certainly Lisa or all of her crypto billionaire friends could take my cryptos, and so just keep that in mind. But that's what a paper wallet looks like. You can get that option to print it out. So for now, what we'll do is we'll put this in a document just so.
So this website's not going to save your private key at all?
No.
You're going to save it. Okay.
Correct. So here, I didn't write down the address before, but save the address. Private key. Okay. Now, fortunately, I wrote down my private key, which is what it's going to ask for. Essentially, this is logging in. So, are you able to see that file that I just referenced, or are you just seeing my state on this screen, Lisa?
Just this screen.
So what I did essentially here, I guess that doesn't show up, which is fine. I have Microsoft Word, or I use Office Pages, where I've pasted my thing into a document, so that long number I can copy and paste. Now I put it in here. It was that same number you saw on the paper wallet.
Okay.
Which is showing up here. That's the private key, which again, you would not want to show this to someone. You would be logging in. If someone takes a screenshot of your thing, this is the private key you want to protect. Now your address you can give out to people, because that way if somebody wants to send you something, that's the address they would send it to. If you're transferring something from Coinbase or GDAX or EtherDelta, which we'll get to in a second, you can give out your address, but not the private key. Distinction clear on those two?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you put your private key in here, you unlock your wallet.
And it's per wallet, right? You can have several wallets, several.
You can have as many of these as you would like. Let's see, so unlock, wallet successfully decrypted. Okay, all right, so there we go. So here again, if you didn't do it before, I'm going to take my address and copy and paste this into the file, which you can't really see right now, but just in a Word document file, I have pasted my address and my private key. Because as you're going through logging into your MyEtherWallet or EtherDelta, which we're about to get to in a second, once you get it set up, you won't have to be copying and pasting a lot, but to get started, you will. So you want to be able to copy and paste that back and type it in. Again, when you're logged in, there's your print paper wallet. The account balance, there's nothing in here, so there's 0. But as you'll see when we get to MyEtherDelta, there's a way to see your tokens there if you buy. So far, how do you feel? Does this make sense if you're thinking of this just as a place where you store your coins, which I would recommend as a temporary to Trezor or some sort of offline storage? Good to go?
Yeah. Does it mean it's only Ethereum, or is this a general?
Nope, you can put your other, I don't think you can put Litecoin or Bitcoin in here, but any of the Ethereum-based tokens can be stored in here. So
Okay.
if you have a Mesigo or Veritasium or Salt or basically any of the things that, if you look over here, you can actually purchase. So what we do here, did you have a question there? Or?
Yeah, so that wallet you would, this is a stupid question, but you would want to put some dollars or Ethereum in there from somewhere else.
You would put in MyEtherWallet, not dollars, but Ethereum or other tokens. So if you go back to Coinbase or GDAX, for example, now here, if you are in GDAX, and let's say you bought some, so basically you could buy Ethereum in Coinbase or GDAX, and then you come here and you would have some number there. And you hit withdraw and you put in Ethereum address, and then there you could put in the address, not the private key, but the address that you're sending it to. And if done properly, then you come here, put your private key to log into here, and you would see a balance in your Ethereum.
Got it. So wallets, it doesn't matter where they are. If you have the address and the private key, anybody, you can access it. It doesn't matter that it's in MyEtherWallet. You didn't need to, I mean, of course you're going to know that, but it found it based on the address, right? Anyway,
I think I get what you're asking, but run it by me again just so
it's probably
sure I'm clear.
I'm going to retract. It's fine. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. The address tells you everything about where it is behind the scenes.
The address I think of as maybe like your mailing address. But if you had a lock on your mailbox, that would be the private key. So the address part you can give out if somebody's sending you something. But again, the private key you want to keep separate, because if someone has if someone just has your private key, they can log in and get your address, and obviously you don't want that to happen. So really, and they can do that from anywhere. Anyone can go to MyEtherWallet and log in. So you want to keep the private key private.
Yeah. Okay.
Answer it somewhere in there.
Yeah.
All right. So again, whether you're in Coinbase, you have a similar option to send it to an address. It would be that MyEtherWallet address that you would put in.
You know, probably what I'm asking right here, what says Ether address. Like, why doesn't it say Bitcoin address? Like, why is it Ether address? Is that a special?
Because basically there are different tokens that are traded on the Ether network, and what you would do is basically when you go to EtherDelta to buy any of those tokens, you're not paying dollars for them. You need Ethereum to buy them. So as we'll log in, you'll see these prices. These are offers here, and this is for 0.051 Ethereum. You can buy. I guess that's looks like Populous there. So they're priced in Ethereum. Ethereum is used as the currency rather than dollars. To get to Ethereum, that's where you go through Coinbase or GDAX. And again, if anyone's not familiar with that, just watch part 1 of this. We cover how to do that. but you have to buy Ethereum, and then Ethereum is the currency. It's like if you wanted to buy something in Europe that the guy wanted euros instead of dollars. So you'd have to transact into that currency, and then you can go ahead and buy the tokens that you want.
I think what I'm learning too is that there's a set of tokens that this EtherDelta is helping you buy all these set of tokens I didn't even realize were like in a group.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, Salt and Veristatum or whatever.
Yeah, I think most of the good stuff is in here.
Oh, that's key. Okay.
So,
wow.
What we'll do next is to get started here, we go to select account, and we would go to import account. And again, I'm going to go back, I'm going to copy and paste my address and put it in there. And I'm going to copy and paste my private key and put it in there, and click import account. Okay, so now we're finally logged in. For some reason, the first time I logged in, it didn't show my account here, which you see in the green. So I had to actually import account twice. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but basically once you get your green thing here, it's showing your account, which that should match your MyEtherWallet address.
Okay.
So once you get that, which stays in there, shouldn't have to do it again. You know, technology is perhaps not always a perfect science, so sometimes that happens. But once you got the green there, it usually stays in there. And now probably looks pretty darn overwhelming, right?
Yes.
Well, we're going to clear that up for you. Good news. So I don't have any tokens in here, although I think without actually placing a trade, hopefully we can explain this so that it makes sense. Again, it's natural. If I remember the first time I saw this, it was like, what the heck is going on? Fortunately, I had a friend who was able to explain it. Once it's explained, which is what we're going to be going through right here, it's simple, but same rules apply. Well, there's no rules, but advice would be, just remember, take it one step at a time. Maybe it doesn't happen overnight, but you got this video. There are other videos that, you know, just walk through it. Test things with a small amount. Don't put your whole life savings into your first experimentation with EtherDelta. But if you test and follow this and review this video or whatever else you need to see, you can also leave comments or questions below. Do keep an eye on those. And by all means, if you see someone else's comment, feel free to answer that, since we're a big family here. Anyway, what's nice is that once you have your account synced up here, which you see is green now, you have these three fields: deposit, withdrawal, transfer, token, wallet, and EtherDelta. So right now it's looking at PPT, which is Populous. I think that's Populous. I should know the darn ticker at this point, since I own some Populous, but just to make sure.
Is that a token?
Populous is a token. Okay, yeah, PPT is indeed Populous. So,
okay.
So let's say you didn't want Populous, but you wanted Veritasium. So down here in the bottom left, this just gives you the different coins you can look through. There's Pillar, okay. There's Populous. You can scroll down through this. Hopefully your internet connection's a little faster than mine. But you see all these different tokens down here?
Yeah.
And any one of those ones that you wanted to buy or sell, you would just click on this. And so right now we're on, you can see we clicked on Veritasium, so that's what's showing up here. Let's say we want to go to Spank. I don't even know what that one is, but if we're looking at Spank, here you see it's changed up there, right? Now you see Spank instead of Very. We go back to Very. Down here, you see Very is changed again. Well, each time Ethereum ETH stands for Ethereum, stays the same. It's just that top one that is changing. It would be the same whether you click on Pillar or any one of these. Each time you also see the order book, similar to what we looked at in the GDAX video. Just taking a second to load here. Again, these are the bids and the offers.
Okay.
Similar to what we saw in GDAX, but rather than being priced in dollars, you see PLR, which is Pillar per Ethereum.
Okay.
So right now, someone is offering, these are the offers on top. So for 0.0011911879 Ethereum, you could buy one Pillar token.
Okay.
700 Pillar tokens being offered at that price. And then I believe this is just the total amount of Ethereum it would cost you. So I believe if you multiplied 700 times 0.019, you get that number.
Okay.
Remembering that correctly, but so each time you change which one you're looking at down here, that'll change up here and will change your order book.
Okay.
Come back to the order book in a second, but what this whole thing up here is showing you, let's say that withdrawal, deposit, transfer. So if you wanted to deposit, basically here's your token. Wallet you can think of as MyEtherWallet. So let's say you bought an Ethereum on GDAX or Coinbase. You transferred it to MyEtherWallet and it's sitting in here. So now your account balance would be 1 Ethereum.
Okay.
Once your account is synced here, you're going to see in the wallet field a 1. This wallet field is actually because you synced it to your MyEtherWallet, we'll show it directly in here. Now, if you wanted to actually trade something, you would have to take it from your wallet and put it onto the EtherDelta platform, which is this whole thing. So it's staying within this site because the wallet, again, is showing you the MyEtherWallet balance, but to actually transact in the EtherDelta, which is this system, you would put 1 Ethereum, or there's a small fee, so it'd be slightly less than that, but you put that in here and then deposit.
Okay.
And then you would see the Ethereum go from wallet into MyEtherDelta. Makes sense?
Yes.
Similar, the opposite would be if you click on withdraw, if you wanted to, now, if you had bought Pillar or something or one of these tokens, which we'll show you how to do in a second, that one, you go out and buy it, and in your EtherDelta, you would see however many Pillar you wanted. And if you wanted to withdraw it into your MyEtherWallet, then you would withdraw and you would see the number move from here back to there. So deposit sending from MyEtherWallet into EtherDelta, EtherDelta sending it back the other way.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Now, if you wanted to send it somewhere else, again, you could put an address in here, the amount you want to send, and you would transfer it. So maybe you wanted to send it to a different wallet, not the one that, now this wallet that you're seeing here is going to be what you synced it to in here.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe you want to, for whatever reason, put it in a different wallet, different account, or however you're looking at it. You could transfer to that different address, and you would do that here by using the transfer field.
And all wallets are accessible from here? Like if I had a wallet in some obscure place, if I had an address, I could.
So let's say you had MyEtherWallet B, okay? So if you had a separate MyEtherWallet, not the one that we put in here, that is showing up in this middle field, if you wanted to transfer your Pillar or your Ethereum to that wallet B, you would put the address in here and hit transfer. if you had something in wallet B and you wanted to send it to the wallet that's in here, you would have to go into wallet B, send from there into wallet A, which is the one we created here. And if you send it into there, it'll show up here. And again, because wallet A is synced, it would show up in this wallet field as well.
So is MyEtherWallet the only wallet you can have Ethereum in?
I'm pretty sure there's about 1 million others. That's the one that I use. I've not used any other ones. So again, that, you know, you could YouTube that. I believe there are.
And Coinbase is Bitcoin and Ethereum wallets?
Yeah, in Coinbase, you have a wallet there that can be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, or Litecoin.
Okay.
But
it's clicking. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Again, that's, you know, once you play around with these and see them, that will help a lot of this click in. So if anyone's watching today and it feels like it's moving quick, again, the best thing you can do is test with small amounts. That will make it seem a lot more digestible. That answer your question, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say we wanted to buy some Spank. So we'll click on Spank there, and we assume we had some Ethereum in our MyEtherWallet. So we'd say, all right, I want to deposit this. So click on the deposit field. We put in whatever amount we want to send in here. We put deposit, and then you would see Ethereum show up, whether it's 1 or 10 or 100 would be in here. So now you can click on this field, and it says, because we clicked on the offers, these are the prices at which someone wants to sell. So if you want to buy, some guy's offering 62 Spanks at 0.000389. So we click there. Do you want to buy 62 Spanks? Here's the amount to buy. Your total, so basically it's looking at the price, the amount you want to buy, and saying that entire trade would cost you 0.024 Ethereum. So this is kind of like the market order if you do it this way. So that guy's offering them right now. You can click buy, and if you have 0.024 Ethereum and somebody else hasn't clicked on it already, you would be filled at that price. So again, yes, I was correct before. So here's the price, the amount offered, and this last column is showing you, all right, that's just multiplying these two numbers. How much Ethereum is that going to cost you? Similar to if you were buying some stocks, and it says there's 62 shares offered at $38, it would cost you X number of dollars to buy. It's just pricing it in a different currency than dollars. Similar, if you did the opposite, you wanted to sell, you'd be looking at the bids. So this guy on top wants to buy 2,568 Spanks, which would cost him, sorry, it just still sounds funny, 0.999. So if you wanted to sell to him and you had this many Spanks, you could sell. There's the fee, and it'd be just the inverse of the buying. Now, if you wanted to do, you know, what would be like a limit order, you could come down here, put in how many you want to buy, the price, which would be like this. So maybe, let's pick one where the numbers are a little bigger, just so we can skip some decimals. Go back to Veritasium here. And all right, so right now the best bid for Veritasium is 0.367. See that up there?
Yeah.
So let's say you decide, well, I don't need to be the top bid. I bid 0.366. So I want to buy 10 Ethereum. My price 0.366. And that's telling you you'd be paying 3.66 Ethereum in total. expires is telling you, it's kind of essentially a limit of how many blocks are added to the blockchain before your limit expires. And then, so if you place this in here, right now there's a better bid, there's no one offering at your price yet, so it would show up in orders. Because this is not a funded account, it's not showing anything up, but if you click the submit button, which is somewhere down there, I can't see it at the moment, but would show up, well, probably because I don't have that to fund my account right now. It would show up here in the orders, and then, you know, again, with limit order, you can leave that, and it'll sit there until the 10,000 blocks expire, which is a while. I'm not even sure how long that would be, although more than a day.
You would leave it there?
Well, if you want to leave it there, I mean, let's say...
I mean the 10K, you would leave that value there?
I haven't changed that. I mean, that leaves it for a while. I don't know how long, but I've come back the next day and the order is still there. So if I'm fine leaving it there, and if I get filled today, tomorrow, or a day from then, you know, I can always come back and cancel it, but this allows me to leave it there and just give it time. And if that, you know, you can always come back and check. It's not filled, you'll see it in orders. If it has traded, you will see it show up there. And then what you would see is if you bought those Veritasium, then it would show up in this field here under EtherDelta Veritasium. So you would own Veritasium still in the EtherDelta platform, which is this exchange site. And then if you wanted to bring it back to store it a little more safely in your wallet, you could come to withdraw field. Maybe you see 10 Veritasium, so you could put 10 into this field, withdraw, and then you would see that populated in your wallet. And if you came back in and logged into your MyEtherWallet, again with your private key, which you keep private and do not share, you actually, if you go into tokens, sorry if I did that a little quickly, but here after you've logged in on the right hand side, you click on tokens there, it shows you a portfolio, and those should be showing up here. There's not anything in there now, but if you were doing a real trade, it would show up there. And again, I know I'm repeating this, but it's worth repeating this many times, is just test these things out with a small amount. You know, you have your MyEtherWallet, you know, your Coinbase stuff, all these different things going around that in the beginning especially can be confusing. And the main thing, you do want to be careful understanding where you're sending things, making sure you have your encryption key and addresses stored safely, whether you're storing that on your computer or not, whether you're storing it on an external hard drive, a thumb drive. You want to make sure that that's stored safely. And again, just test with a small amount. It gets simple once you've done it a couple times, but obviously the first time you're doing it, you know, you could watch this video 800 times, but nothing will replace actually pressing the buttons and clicking for yourself, but do it with a small amount so that you make sure things get there. And so with that said, any questions on anything we covered here so far?
Would you keep putting it back in the wallet immediately after you sold things, or why is it more secure in the wallet?
Sorry, I coughed over the last half of your question there. Can you give me that again?
2 questions. Why is it safer in the wallet? Because it's designed to be safer?
I would say I believe so. I'm not... I believe I'd feel safer with things in my EtherWallet Again, as we looked at in video A, just because I think it's worth pointing out again, put back up here. What I'm in the process of doing, hopefully if I have enough time, maybe we'll even do today, is getting a Trezor, and then eventually everything will be stored in this thing, which based on my research, I've felt is safer. By all means, you can go to YouTube and best ways to store Bitcoin or altcoins or most secure way. You can hear people that can speak at a higher level to the specific technicals, but based on my research, I found the Trezor to be what I felt was the safest. Now, I've had times where I've had things sitting in EtherDelta for a while. Nothing's happened. And I think for the most part, I don't know, I'd feel safer there than having $10,000 in a JP Morgan Chase account, perhaps. That's just me. Yet with that said, especially if you're investing in the cryptos, and you know, if you get past the point where it's more than just 10 or 20 bucks to test out, based on my research, again, I would recommend some sort of offline storage. Heard about the Ledger too, which I believe is a good model. There's, not to say this is the only one, this is just the one that I've heard recommended the most from people who seem to know what they're doing and what I've decided to purchase.
Does it cost to transfer between EtherDelta to your wallets? Can you just do that all day long? Is it?
I think there is a fee. See, when you transfer between EtherDelta and my wallet, yes, there is a gas fee between those two. It's called the gas. You can think of like a transaction fee. So don't want to be just sending things around aimlessly. Again, with that said, as compared to your traditional brokerage fee, it's a lot less.
Yeah.
But, you know, it can be like pennies. So it's not like you're paying like 10 bucks to send it back and forth. But, you know, test out. Again, in small amounts, you can see, all right, it charged me this much in gas, and then you can look at, all right, it charged me how much Ethereum for gas, then back out at the Ethereum price, and you can see exactly what you're paying, which I don't even remember an example right now to give you, but that's how you can test that. But the short answer is that, yes, there is some fee, so don't just wing them around endlessly, but, you know, I would say if you spend $2 or $3 in transaction fees in the beginning to make sure you know what you're doing so that when you're sending thousands around later, things get to the right place. Yes, it did, you know, to say, is it worth paying fees, which are small, to make sure, test things and do it properly. The fees aren't that big where it's like, if I sent 2 or 3 Ethereum tokens around, it's not costing you $100. But that's pretty much it. And again, I know if you're seeing it for the first time, certainly if you have no idea what you're doing, it can be a little complex, but I think we've mapped out pretty much everything that one would need to know to get started. By all means, leave any comments below, and but I think that should pretty much have you on your way. Between that and YouTube, again, if you leave comments, I do my best to get to all of them. And I'll say, Lisa, any other final questions before we wrap this up? Or you're just waiting for me to stop talking so you can go buy some salt tokens,
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
I hear you. I hear you.
But do you have a favorite website where you look at the charts a little bit more detailed than this one?
Yeah. Well, I like, I've developed this somewhat healthy or unhealthy addiction to looking at coin market cap.
Okay.
So here is showing you by market cap the biggest ones. Bitcoin is obviously, what's the volume? Where's the market cap? Right there. How did I miss it? 255 billion. So basically coins times the amount in supply. And there you see Litecoin. So I like looking through this.
Okay.
The main ones I own are Litecoin, Mizigo, Populous, and down here, Veritasium, which is over $400. Woohoo! And Salt. But I think, you know, there's something good about, there's an app called Blockfolio where you can put in, you know, which coins you own, how many you own, and it'll tell you to the second what they're worth. I don't know, again, I have a trading background, and I think there's something to just visually seeing things. Anyways, so you see Bitcoin Cash here. This is the change over the 24-hour period. So just if I find it interesting and relevant, you know, to see different things that are going on, helps me get a feel at times how things move together. With that said, my primary strategy is, since I bought the ones I've purchased, I haven't really traded anything. So I'm of the mindset that the less I do, the better off I think I'll be. Obviously everyone has their own situation, so that's just what I've decided on. Although, again, I think it's relevant just from the standpoint that my background was trading equity options on the New York Stock Exchange, which by nature is a short-term trading thing. So I say this just in the sense that even having that experience, I'm sitting here looking at these thinking, you know, just don't outthink yourself or try and assume that you know things about the market. And I don't mean you, I'm speaking about myself. You know, maybe there'll be some times where I see a situation where something's out of line, and, you know, I think there's, you know, times where you do make decisions, but to the degree that, you know, there are people that are flipping things back and forth every day, I'm personally not doing that. And my feel has been that based on what I see happening with our current system, where things are going, I've just tried to look for the companies that I think will do the best and just leave them. And personally, I think if you do that, you'll be just fine. Now, I showed you the 5 primary ones that I own, which is not a specific financial recommendation for anyone. Although with that said, those are the 5 that as I've researched the most, have felt most comfortable with and continue to like. So some names that might be worth looking into, again, Populous, Litecoin, Veritasium, Mizigo, which is OMG, and also Salt. I'm sure there are tons of other great ones out there that, I mean, so you can see, nobody necessarily knows everything about every single one. So again, just perhaps as a starting point to your own research, those are the ones I like, and which doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, but go ahead.
I have one other question. How do I tell on this chart which ones are tokens and which ones aren't?
Well, you could go to this field here where you have coins. You could get the top 100 coins.
Oh, coins and tokens are separated. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then here are tokens, which...
There we go. So all the ones you mentioned will be in this list.
Not necessarily. You can buy some of the coins on EtherDelta too. I would say perhaps a rough definition of or at least how I think of coins versus tokens, Bitcoin being a coin, perhaps more of a currency function, whereas a lot of these tokens like Salt or Veritasium are actually companies that are doing different things. And perhaps one way of thinking about it is that typically stocks are priced in dollars, but rather than being listed on a stock exchange or being listed on a coin exchange, so you buy the tokens. But you can think of it similar to a lot of these, like Salt, you know, you might think of as a technology IPO, except rather than, you know, certainly you can see how it's priced in dollars, but rather than putting dollars into your TD Ameritrade account to fund it, you would put Ethereum into MyEtherDelta or MyEtherWallet, or into the EtherDelta platform to buy it, because that's the system that it is functioning on. That makes sense?
Yeah, thanks.
And any other questions? Or
Nope, that's it.
Cool. Well, Lisa,
cool.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. Hopefully this will help a lot of other people get started. Again, by all means, it's going to be, or I expect it to be, a very volatile market. I don't recommend any form of leverage or margin. If there's ever been a great way to get stopped out of your trade and miss what could be a great opportunity, I'd say overextending yourself in these types of products would be it. So I highly recommend avoiding that. Again, also your entire portfolio does not have to be cryptos. So by all means, invest in what is within your means. I do think that we're still early in a much bigger bull market, because for the simple reason that there's a lot of money that I believe is shifting out of the old system into the new one. So hopefully this helped you to get started, but just a caution to be responsible and realize things can go down. Although I'm leaving what I own for the long term. Hopefully life is kind to me and be able to do that. And with that said, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got what you need to get started. We're gonna wrap up now, and leave any comments below. Thanks.